Just as the world has never experienced a United States president quite like Donald Trump, we've not seen a First Lady like Melania Trump. Despite being one of the most photographed women on the planet, she remains virtually unknown. Even by her own husband, it's been unkindly suggested. Tonight, though, that changes. Stephanie Winston Wolkoff says she was besties with Melania for 15 years. Because of that, she was made a trusted advisor to the First Lady and even helped organise Donald Trump's inauguration. But then their friendship soured badly. So what did Stephanie do next? Well, she wrote a tell-all book that really does tell all about Melania and the Donald. For outsiders, looking at the State of the Union of Donald and Melania Trump, one thing seems obvious. Opposites attract.
Donald J. Trump.
He's big and brash.
We're gonna knock the shit out of ISIS. We're gonna... Boom, boom, boom.
She's poised, petite, and reserved.
Melania Trump is one of the most glamorous first ladies ever.
Melania has been the First Lady of the United States for almost 4 years. But unlike her husband, she's still a mystery.
Melania does not want people to know who she is or what she's about. And Melania, by remaining mysterious, by keeping up that steel wall, she doesn't have to answer to anyone.
Stephanie Winston Wolkoff is one of the very few to get close to the real Melania Trump. As you'll see, they're not friends now. But for 15 years, from the early 2000s, they were inseparable. More than anyone, she understands the Trumps' complicated love.
This is not a typical marriage or a typical relationship. They are there for one another. They have a reason for being together, which is beyond anyone's comprehension, except for being able to present themselves in a way that she brings, or she brought, some humanity to the presidency.
It's easy to see how.
Growing up as a young child in Slovenia, which was under communist rule at the time, I always heard about an amazing place called America.
Yes.
In many ways, Melania's story is the American dream. At 26, she arrived in the US as a model and soon caught the eye of the ambitious and audacious Donald Trump.
Yes.
When they married in 2005, Melania became his third wife.
I was actually supposed to meet somebody else, and there was this great supermodel sitting next to Melania. I was supposed to meet this supermodel, and they were saying, look, there's so-and-so. I said, forget about her. Who's the one on the left? And it was Melania.
You like him right away?
It was a great chemistry and energy.
All for you.
What he got out of it was arm candy. A decade later, she ends up with, being the First Lady of the United States of America.
Yes.
Can you picture yourself a First Lady?
Yes, I will be very traditional, like Jackie Kennedy.
I want it all.
But it's fair to say that Jackie Kennedy never looked like this, at least not in public.
I want it all.
They were a little risky, but nothing more than you see every year in Sport Illustrated.
Stephanie Winston Wolkoff says, despite Melania's significant exposure, she's never been an open book. And while she might not like Donald's embarrassing faux pas,
Grab him by the pussy. I could do anything.
he knows his wife will always stare the other way.
I was surprised because that is not the man that I know.
Would you agree in public? She rarely looks happy.
She is not unhappy. She is complicit. She is no different than her husband.
What is their relationship? I mean, is it a marriage made in heaven with these two calculating people?
You know, I mean, I have been saying it's a transactional marriage, and it is, because I started to realize that everything they did was strategic.
Well, what you're talking about is an incredibly cynical marriage. But if she knew who she was marrying and she's happy with what she's got out of it, where does that leave the public embarrassment, Stephanie? You've got a woman who's married to this guy who has an affair with a Playboy model and then a porn star, and we're talking only weeks after his son is born, and she's still recovering.
They were meant for each other. What normal woman could actually handle that? None. For her, it was just politics. It's just liberal media. It is what it is. I know who I'm married. Certain things don't need to be explained with an explanation. I mean, those are her words. He wanted the spotlight. He's a showman, and she was willing to do what he needed for her, which was to stand by his side. So all of these speculations about her heart and how she's feeling and Melania, everyone should just stop, because there's nothing there to feel.
She seems to have this habit of dodging Donald's public displays of affection. And we've seen that a number of times. Is that a little bit weird?
So I think what people are forgetting or missing is that Donald and Melania and the Trump family are masters of the dark. And I think that whenever he needs something to distract away from something else, Melania plays a role in that. And then all of a sudden, everyone's talking about her hand swat, which is, to me, she's literally, again, they are aligned in a way that everything is done for a reason. Nothing just happens.
Ah, you think that's on purpose?
100%. So there has to be, again, you have to understand who they are to understand what they're trying to do, which is fleece the nation, which is completely make you think one thing, because that machine behind them is so powerful.
I'm very strong. People, they don't really know me. People think and talk about me oh, Melania, oh, poor Melania. Don't feel sorry for me. Don't feel sorry for me. I can handle everything.
For years, Stephanie worked at Vogue magazine in New York. It was where she first met model Melania. They hit it off immediately.
Melania and our friendship was based on her ability to stay calm, her ability to have the most general common sense. It was a very, our ideologies were not spoken about, politics was not spoken about. It was just the two of us. And so I always felt great after I left seeing her. I felt confident, I felt assured. I mean, she really gave me that boost of, energy.
Their friendship blossomed into a working relationship when Melania became the First Lady. Stephanie was announced as her senior advisor. But as is often the way, business and pleasure don't always mix, and the friendship disintegrated. Stephanie, is there still a tiny part of you that likes Melania?
No. Not at all.
You knew this woman as a genuine friend for 15 odd years. How could you get it so wrong?
I know I gave her the benefit of the doubt. I wanted to believe.
Coming up,
Melania had no one. I knew she was diving into a pool of sharks.
how it all went wrong.
People did not like me asking questions.
Politics and power.
Is Ivanka jealous of her stepmother?
Inside a bloody White House.
Stabbed me in the back and sliced me on the neck and threw me under the bus.
That's next on 60 Minutes.
When Donald Trump was sensationally elected president 4 years ago, the new First Lady, Melania, turned to her close friend, Stephanie Winston Wolkoff, to help coordinate her husband's $100 million inauguration. Stephanie's connections in the fashion world, as well as years of experience producing New York's famous Met Gala, made her the perfect choice for the job. It was her first glimpse into the colliding worlds of the Trump family and Washington politics.
When I was first asked to produce the inauguration, I did so with honor. As I was doing this, I realized that Melania had no one, and I mean no one, helping her. And I was her friend for 15 years. I was someone that she trusted and someone that she knew would watch out for her. And when I saw what was going on during the presidential inauguration committee planning, I knew she was diving into a pool of sharks and that I needed to have her back because no one else would.
According to Stephanie, right from the start, Melania Trump was pushed aside and often ignored. It quickly became obvious there was a challenger for the role of First Lady, Donald's daughter, Ivanka.
No one cared to take care of Melania Trump. People were only interested in making sure that Ivanka Trump was taken care of.
Is there normal communication between Melania and Ivanka? Do they ever just sit down and talk to each other in a room about what's happening that day?
Not very often. You know, it used to be more cordial when the children were younger. They did look up to Melania. But now, you know, power does take its place and it holds a very critically important, you know, part of all of their being now. And yet, listen, Ivanka just wanted to usurp the First Lady. Her interests were her own. It's what Ivanka can get out of this for herself.
Why is that? Is Ivanka jealous of her stepmother, or is Melania just a bit bitter because she knows that Ivanka is Donald's favourite daughter?
Melania's accepted the fact that, and did accept the fact, and she kept saying to me, this is the way it's going to be. Why do you care so much? And I kept banging my head against the wall because it's not just the way it should be.
But that's ironic, isn't it? Because you're telling me you really wanted to make a difference, a genuine difference. And here you are working for a so-called friend of yours who seems like she just couldn't care less.
In the beginning, she did care, and that's the difference. Here's the thing. She has succumbed to her stepdaughter's ability to squash her as the First Lady, to do anything effective, to affect change. And she's just going to ride out this time. And that makes you complicit. That, if you're not, you stand up and walk away.
So when people talk about this Cold War between Melania and Ivanka, it's over. Ivanka has won.
In my opinion, yes. If Donald had to pick between, you know, branding Ivanka or branding Melania, well, he's already shown us who he's branded, right? And the fact that he's literally getting Ivanka ready to become president and already putting that in people's minds is just insane.
As Melania Trump's senior advisor, Stephanie Winston Wolkoff occupied a privileged position for almost the first 2 years of Donald Trump's presidency. But this forthright and opinionated woman was increasingly viewed as trouble.
I really had a lot of questions, and people did not like me asking questions. I was a problem. They wanted me out of the White House. I was seen as being divisive because I wanted to help the First Lady. I was being seen as divisive, as Melania told me, people were jealous because I slept over. I was being divisive because I was so close to her and understood what she needed to do, but also I had the experience to help her execute everything that our country needed to do this.
Like with so many other Trump staffers, tears were inevitable. They came when an official investigation was launched into why the presidential inauguration Stephanie had helped organise was so incredibly expensive. Information was leaked to the media, and she was accused of pocketing $26 million. But instead of standing up for her, her friend, the First Lady, swiftly and publicly dumped her. Stephanie is adamant she was the victim of a political hit. They said at one stage your company was paid 26 million US. I mean, that's about 35 million Australian. And then we heard that eventually you were only paid $480,000. I mean, is that figure right?
That is right.
The 480,000.
Yes, but that also included, you know, again, planning the inauguration, working for Melania during the inaugural for free, bringing all my relationships, my contacts, and working 24/7 for her, and then also the year and a half at the White House.
Did Melania know about the money?
Melania knew everything that I knew because we spoke about it all the time. Yes.
Could she have defended you publicly if she had wanted to?
1,000,000,000%. However, she said that due to the investigation, she could not. Due to the fact that she was not a private citizen, she could not.
And you know that that's a cop-out.
Oh, I know it's a cop-out, and I have all the evidence to prove it's a cop-out.
Which you are currently sharing with investigators.
Which I'm currently sharing with investigators. They destroyed my character once. I'm not letting them do this again.
And not only is Stephanie Winston Wolkoff sharing what she knows with investigators, she's also sharing it with the world. Again, as with many other exes in the Trump administration, she's written a tell-all book. Donald and Melania are said to be none too pleased. I want to talk to you about the truth, because the White House says that the First Lady is angry with you because you overstated your relationship with her in order to write a book filled with falsehoods.
Yes, I've read that. What did you expect them to say?
Has the book got any falsehoods in it?
The book doesn't have one falsehood. I can back up every single thing in this book by one or another way of transmission. And I mean everything.
You secretly record Melania Trump.
I secretly recorded Melania Trump after I was accused of being a criminal activity. She was no longer my friend. I was thrown to the wolves.
Are you suggesting that she took advantage of your trust?
100%. No doubt. Stabbed me in the back and sliced me on the neck and threw me under the bus.
What about your motivation for writing this book?
I needed to clear my head. I needed clarity. I've been living in my house for 3 years. I've gone out maybe a handful of times. I have 3 children. I'm sorry.
You okay?
They took my life away from me in a matter of seconds. The life I built for myself and my children and my husband and my family was crushed by this machine of false narrative. And no one took any desire to even want to figure out what the truth was, which was, where's the rest of the money?
In the list of scandals that's defined this president's first term in office, whether there's money missing from his inauguration celebrations probably doesn't rank that highly. But Stephanie Winston Wolkoff says with an election to decide if Donald Trump receives a second term only weeks away, it is vital to discover the truth.
There's something very interesting in the way that when you take a really big step back and you stop focusing on the moments, that you realize that America and people are just being played to. And we're all on a reality show right now, and we really are.
If Donald Trump loses in November, what becomes of Melania?
She'll be in the south of France on a really big yacht with a really big brim hat, doing what she's always wanted to do. Nothing.
Hello, I'm Liam Bartlett. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can also download the 9Now app for full episodes and other exclusive 60 Minutes content.